Okay, so now that we have our store card component rendering on our location page, we now want to have a search bar at the top. So the way we want our search bar to work is we want the user to type in the field and the outcome would be what the store name is. So in this case, if I typed in Camden, then it would only filter any titles that contains Camden inside. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a div just above the search results container. So within my container, but above the search results container, I'm just going to create a div named search bar container. And inside the search bar container, we're going to have a input field. And we are also going to have a button that has this icon, which we will get from Material UI. So if I start by getting an input field, type of text because we want the user to type in. We also want a placeholder within our search input, and that will be type to search. So now that we have that, we want to have a button or an icon that we are going to import. So if I just copy across the icon that I have, so in this case, you would go to Material UI and search for the icon that you would require. But in this case, I already have it. So the search icon, I need to input it in as if it was a component. I also need to declare the search bar container. So if I add that in as an import from my styles, go into my styles and create a div. And now if I save and go back to my local host, I should now have a very basic input and a icon there. So what we're going to do, we're going to style this now so it looks like the one on the Costa website. What I am going to do is first of all give the container a background color of white. So I'm going to access my theme file once again, taking out the props.theme white like so. I am also going to display flex on this because I have two children within parent. So display flex. I want to also align the items centrally. We want to justify the content as space between because we want to have space in between. I'm going to give it a height of 50 pixels and it's also going to have a margin of 10 pixels all around. Now if I save, so we have the input and the icon separated. I am also going to give it a border and the border radius, which I will paste in. So the border radius would have 30 pixels around. If I save, now we can see the same shape as what is on the Costa website, like so. I'm also going to give it a max width of the container, so max width, and that is going to be 200 pixels, just to see how that would look. Maybe I give it 500 as the very maximum. Now what we want to do is we want to style the input within the div, so input, and this is going to have a flex of 1, which means it should take up all the space available, an outline of none, which will remove this dark line just outside. We would give it also a border of none. So if I now save, I now have no outline or no border around the input. I am also going to give it a padding of 10 pixels all around. And what I also want to add is a padding left because we can see a little bit of whiteness just on the outside there. So if I give it an extra bit of padding on the left of 15 pixels, if I increase that to 25 or 45, and if I also give it a padding on the search bar container on the left of 15 pixels to push the left side in a little bit, and in the input I'm going to give a font size of 1 rem with the text in the input. So now that portion is complete. If I type, that looks okay. So now we're going to work on the search icon. So if I copy the selector, I already have the styles for this. So if I just paste that in, so what we're doing is we're selecting the icon from Material UI. We're going to give it a color of white, which I will use my prop. we're going to have a background color of the primary color. So if I copy that again and use that from my props, and we're going to use the primary color, we have a border radius around. So what that would do is it would only work on the top right and the bottom right as a border. A height of 100%, so it's relative within its container. A width of 20%, so it's going to take up 20% of the container, and some padding of 8px. So if I now save, then now it has the similar effect. And we also have a hover background color over here, which I will add to my theme file. So if I just copy this across, go into my theme.js and add a button hover style like so. And now I have access to the button hover through my props. So if I just copy this and replace the color with the props.theme.button hover. And just one final touch is on my search container, I'm going to add a cursor pointer. And if I now save, now I should have the color, and I also have the little cursor just pointing on. So now the style is complete, and in the next video we're going to be working on the functionality on how we are going to filter each individual store card based on what we type in the search bar.